Chapter 3. A mother is unaffected by the ostracism, but she feels bad for Ntube, whom she had instructed not to visit her friends and not to receive visits from her friends. She has just prepared food, and she's pondering on what to do with the Wang Ename's share when he enters to announce that he had just killed a buffalo. As proof, he shows her the tail and one of the legs. He wants to inform the chief so that he beats the drum to inform the villagers and for the women to go to the forest to transport the meat back to the village. A mother does not want any of the women who had conspired against her to get involved. The chief beats the drum and summons the whole village at the chief's palace, where Ewang Ename brandishes the proof and announces that he has killed a state animal. He is greeted with war songs and praises for his heroic action. Koge realizes that the women do not show any enthusiasm about the news and draws the attention of the chief. The chief inquires from the women if the buffalo that had been killed had been the totem of one of the women. Eduke responds by informing the chief that a mother is the reason because the buffalo belongs to her. Ebane informs the chief that the women have ostracized Emade from their women folk and they cannot share in what belongs to her. But Nkale cautions that the problem concerning the women should not affect the men and the harmony of the village. The youths are excited as they rush to the spot so that the meat does not get rotten because of lack of time. Pele is sent by the chief to make sure that the buffalo is butchered properly, following the customs of a state animal, instead of it being mutilated. The chief also tells the women to go to the forest to carry the meat, and their issue with Emade will be discussed later. The women rush to the forest before Eduke has time to say a word. Emade and Boke are the first women to arrive at the scene, and the former has a hidden agenda concerning the meat. The meat is then transported to the village, shared among the villagers according to tradition. And the mother is given the head and 2 trotters to prepare for the village women. The women who had transported the meat to the village are compensated with a fair share. The villagers are happy and thank their ancestors for sending them food through Ewang Ename. The meat will be prepared by a mother in the night, and the women will share it in the morning, singing praises to the hunter and their ancestors. All the women turn up except Eduke and her followers. Nsume shares the meat and plantains, including those who are not present. The absentees receive their shares, but Eduke sends her share back with a mother snapping back. Are we begging beggars to eat? Does Eduke think I can look for shelter in storms like her? After the reading of this chapter, we can take the following issues into consideration. The chapter handles aspects of tradition such as hunting and the killing of a state animal. The state animal is considered food sent by the ancestors, highlighting superstition. The fact that the meat is shared to everyone in the village also highlights solidarity and communality or love. The sharing of the cooked meat among the women is also to foster love and solidarity among the women. Also take note of the authority of the chief, who gives order for the women to go to the forest and transport the meat despite their strife with Emade. The fact that all the women show up the next morning to partake in the meat sharing except Eduke shows that she still holds a grudge against Emade, highlighting conflict. Also take note of the chief's peaceful nature, as his decision to ask Emade to cook the meat for the women is to seek for reconciliation amongst them. Lastly, Emade's sarcasm cannot be ignored when she cares less about Eduke's pettiness of sending back her own share. She shows her contempt for such a beggarly person as she is.